The LPGA is known for being at a considerable disadvantage when it comes to funding compared to the men's league, but the talent in the ladies' league is nothing short of world-class. Even so, as the total prize money increases, making ends meet after the payouts is getting harder and harder for most players. Some are even putting in their own money to keep playing. Keep watching to find out more. Firstly, the problem with making the cut in the LPGA. The prize money at 20 of the 32 LPGA events this season will be more than the winner's check at the upcoming CME Group Tour Championship. While it's true that there is more money than ever in the women's game, that record-breaking $2 million payout will only grab national attention without telling the complete story. It's getting more and more difficult for players on the LPGA who rank between 101 and 150 on the money list to support themselves. The majority of week-to-week prizes on the top tour in the women's game have barely changed over the past several years, despite major championship purses skyrocketing and more players than ever enjoying seven-figure seasons on the LPGA. In the previous 10 years, the CME Group Tour Championship's purse has grown from $1.5 million to $7 million, surpassing and pressuring even major events to offer more money. That kind of payout can change your life. However, having a bad week in Asia could literally drive players bankrupt, as living and traveling expenses are increasing disproportionately. Next up, players speak out against it. On the LPGA, it's not rare for a player to make the cut and still lose money after covering her weekly expenses, plus the cost of her travel. Amy Olsen said that a lot of players end up in deep credit card debt trying to cover these costs. The top half of the tour has never been wealthier, but the bottom half is still struggling. If you make the cut but place 50th or 60th, you will barely break even and will probably lose money. Women who spend the majority of the year traveling are suffering greatly as the country battles inflation. According to Dana Finkelstein, a flight from Phoenix to Tampa that used to cost $170 now costs $370, previously costing $200 per week. A weekly car rental now costs more than $300. After paying their caddy, she thinks that most players who stay in hotels have weekly expenses of at least $3,000 or more. And that's if you find the cheapest options available for everything. Carolyn Inglis, who's now paid $164,798 and is ranked 99th on the CME points list, thinks that she spent six figures on her team while attending only 16 events. Stephanie Meadow claims that her annual expenses, which include the cost of paying her crew, normally fall between $115,000 and $125,000. That includes lodging at standard hotels and with a few host families. She remarked that this is the best tour in the world, and everyone is ranked in the top 100 at what they do, and yet they aren't even making enough money to purchase an average-sized house. Moving on to how can it be solved? Meadow spoke to Golf Week and said that they're trying to find other alternatives. These could include a minimum wage for any golfer that enters the field, and even a stipend for certain events, but this actually already occurs in several of the majors. At the US Women's Open, players who missed the cut at Pine Needles received $8,000, which was twice as much as what was paid the year before. The DP World Tour said last week that as long as players make at least 15 appearances, they will be guaranteed a minimum of $150,000 against their earnings in the upcoming season. So it's not like this idea can't be done, it's just that LPGA hasn't been willing to put in the work for it. But now with the rising threat of LIV Golf, players are willing to bet that their payouts are gonna improve. A new initiative which provides $500,000 up front for newcomers and tour veterans was unveiled by the PGA Tour in August in response. Ashley Buhai pointed out that the tour is the only major tour that isn't offering some form of compensation. The LPGA players are the only ones who aren't guaranteed any money, and obviously it makes a significant difference. Amy Olsen wants a guarantee of $3,000 up front for each player in an LPGA field. Those who are chosen will receive at least an extra $4,000 in compensation. Finally, where will the funds for all that come from? Olsen thinks that altering the purse distribution is one strategy to produce the money needed. Currently, the winner of the majority of LPGA events receives 15% of the prize money. Following that, 6% of the total amount is allocated to cover tour expenses. The remaining 79% will go to those who are chosen. The US Women's Open awarded 18% of the winnings, and CME will distribute around 29% of the prize to the victor. She observes that top players have many money streams. They receive entry into events with a small field, appearance fees on other tours, and additional opportunities for corporate sponsorship in addition to earning prizes. The top 30 have enough sponsorship potential to not need more money from the tour, so reallocating those could easily solve a lot of problems. Olsen thinks a modification to the purse distribution could be a temporary fix until all LPGA events top $2.5 million. In other news, Linn Grant is at a disadvantage after not being vaccinated. One of the fittest golfers playing right now is Linn Grant, who won the Scandinavian Mixed in June and 3 other LET events. The 60 greatest players of the season are almost always invited to the competition, which will award the champion with a first prize of $2 million. But she still cannot participate in LPGA events due to an entry requirements from the United States, as she hasn't been vaccinated. vaccinated. She has only competed on the LPGA 6 times this season, and each time in competitions held outside of the United States. And now she's unfortunately a victim of her own lack of vaccination coverage. Grant lacks the COVID-19 vaccination, just like Novak Djokovic, who was unable to compete in the US Tennis Open. The player is going to have to endure her difficulties with patience in the hopes that the USA's health regulations will change in the upcoming months. Or she could always just get vaccinated, just saying. She said that under normal circumstances, she would have been participating in the CME. Playing in the season-ending event is a priority for most players, especially this year when the CME is about to offer the largest payout in women's golf history. Only for that reason, she said she can't perform at the CME. Grant won the Terre Blanche Ladies Open at the end of 2021 and made history by becoming the first female winner on the DP World Tour during the mixed tournament in Sweden that was jointly put on by Henrik Stenson and Annika Sorenstam. She outperformed the second-place female competitor by 14 strokes while dominating every single man in the competition. But now she said she's going to focus on finishing the LET final in Andalusia and will attempt to overtake Thailand's Atthaya Tittikul, the current leader in the globe, as the winner of the Ladies European Tour after the road to Costa del Sol, finishing off with Jessica Korda's untimely back injury. The next 2 LPGA events of the season will be played without Jessica Korda's participation. Unfortunately, a back injury will be delaying her 2022 plans. "I'm really disappointed," Korda wrote. "Throughout her career, she hasn't had the best luck avoiding injuries, but she intends to keep playing. She's gonna focus on getting better for next year when she returns for the 13th tour season, stronger and healthier than ever. She'll be missing the Pelican LPGA Championship in Bel Air, Florida this week. She will also be absent from the season-ending CME Group Circuit Championship in Naples, which offers the largest winner's payout in tour history at $2 million. Korda is now ranked 32nd on the CME points list after placing second at the Chevron Championship, which was her best result at a major. She had an injury in the spring and was sidelined for several months. The entry deadline was November 8th, and Korda missed out on the race to the CME Globe, as she couldn't register for the season-ending competition. 2 other players were also absent for the deadline and aren't going to be competing. Inbee Park, who is ranked 51st on the CME points list, hasn't played on the LPGA since the AIG Women's Open in August of last year, and Linn Grant, who was the top player on the Ladies European Tour, has 6 events this season and is a full member of the LPGA. The CME points ranking has her at number 52. All 3 of these players dropped out of the competition and won't be playing. That's a wrap for this video. Thanks for watching. What did you think of the unfair payouts made towards the LPGA? And is it worth for the players to attend? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you at the next one.